Ooh, we're live and recording. Ooh, exciting. Okay. Well, they changed things, that's for sure. God damn it. All right. Well, I'm sorry if I'm creating a boring video with no action, but I'm working on it. I'm definitely working on it. Hang on down there. Okay, so look. Okay, cool. Let's see what they've done. Wow. What's the difference between my Hangouts and these? They're all being recorded. Okay. All right, I think that's it. Oh yeah, I definitely got it right. I see this. Okay. You try the invite button. How do you do invites again? It's been a while. I don't know. Try stop. Oh, now I can see the invite button, you see? Yeah. Okay. Mystic. Mystic. I've already been invited, maybe? Okay, let's do this right. Yeah. Okay, here we go. That's not what I meant to do. Okay. 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 Okay, so I gotta do one more. Ah, this one, this one. Okay, so let's just infrared it. Get on with it. Oh. Okay. The exciting sound of cop cars. Okay, let's see if Spirit Science's chat still exists. And let's see if they're active. I've not been to Spirit Science in a long time. I'm sure it's a really remarkable blog. It's a really remarkable blog. Okay. Let's do this. There we go. Really, really remarkable blog. See, really, really. So, before they destroyed the forums, they did not destroy the Spear Science chat room. So here it is. See if I'm banned because you know they don't like me. Holy cow. Is there no one in here? Nope. Hey.
Hey. I'm
Wow.
using my phone because can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm using my phone because it doesn't work on my computer.
It's okay.
And you get a great view of my ceiling,
I see.
I think.
Very exciting. Well, someone showed that that's a miracle in my book.
Well, it's hard to get people to come to these things, especially on short notice. They tend to build, you know. I used to follow this one show, Blog Talk Radio, and in the end, she did end up getting people, regulars, but in the beginning, it was only a few.
Yeah, well, that's definitely how it goes. And I don't know. I just started it because someone on Reddit said they wanted to start a chat, and I didn't think they were gonna even do the work and make it happen. So I just like I'll do it, So because I know
Oh, you
how.
mean from your
I didn't hear that because you broke up.
who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Who wanted you to start a group?
Just a person on the Law of Attraction forum, and they didn't want me to start a group. They just started a thread. So why don't we start a chat group? So
Right. Yeah, I tried to do this also on Skype, but I didn't. It's hard to get people in the beginning, and I don't really have that much patience to keep going, so I gave it up.
yeah, well, it's like we haven't done one of these in like a year, so it's been a while. But I was just interested because they started with oh, we'll do that, but doesn't really mean anything happens. So there is a chat room too. I don't know if you care to even type stuff, but I created one of
For
those.
law action,
Uh
age chat room.
yeah, I didn't really call it Law of Attraction. In fact, it's just named after my username right now. I think it could be named that way. I'm not even sure how to use it very well, so it's just kind of actually what I did was you met I'm trying to remember her name without checking. Um, I can't remember her name, but I think you met her like a year ago. She had a chat room that some of us would go to, and it would show all our pictures. Yeah, Chicky. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got it. I just went with the chat software that she used. That was my way of.
I continued her chats, but I just didn't find it attractive. So
Well, I figured it just mix and match. There's a whole way to do chats in Hangouts, and then you could just run a separate chat somewhere else. So that was what I was thinking of doing. So that's just what I did.
yeah, well, I mean, if you're gonna air this, we about something, you know.
Well, a bunch of the ones we've done have been aired, but then Cheryl says, "Well, I don't like it," so then I make it disappear, But it's just like, does anybody really watch these? I don't know. The NSA, maybe they got time to
Well, I
kill.
mean, if you bother to air them, you might as well start talking about subjects instead of just going back and forth, because people they have short attention spans, and I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I get the same way. Like people just tend to run off and not stay on the subject. Even I start to do that, so I have to remind myself, oh, I have to stay on the subject because you have to name a video something, and if you name it something, you're expected to stay on that subject.
Yeah,
Going on and on, unless you're just going to call it an update or something. So
I don't bother with that. I mean, we're the ones who have to sit in the chat. We have to make it as interesting as we can, right? It's not. It's about us. It's not about viewers. I mean, I guess that's more the making money mentality or being famous, right? Isn't it?
No, I mean, I just think that if you're going to create something that other people are going to watch, you do need to stay to the subject because I do see a lot of people veering off completely and they're just talking and talking and talking, and it's kind of frustrating when the one of the videos has a name and a title. And if you're going to air it, you might as well make it something worth airing. Otherwise, don't air it. It's not about money because no one's going to make money from this. And it's Google. I mean, you can make money from YouTube. So I'm kind of talking about YouTube. So, but on YouTube, yeah, I mean, if you're putting something out there, you need to stick to a subject because you're going to have to label your video unless your video is just a vlog, you know. Or
Um,
update. Like if I'm just talking about random shit, you can just say random or update. But law of
see, you're thinking about sharing it like 1,000 people are gonna watch it. It almost sounds like I think
who knows? Even if one person watches it, you have to kind of make it worth watching. Otherwise, don't upload it to anywhere. Don't let anyone watch it then.
it's not
It's
necessarily for other people. Maybe it's just for us. I've watched my own videos dozens of times. Videos
mm.
that you've been in, and I've been in. Well,
So
not
apparently
dozens.
you don't want to talk about law of attraction.
We can talk about it. I turned on a whole bunch of the Google features, so like people could ask a question and we could answer it. But I'm guessing there's no questions. Doesn't? Nah, no questions yet.
I would, you know what I was thinking would be interesting to do is like an interview because instead of one person talking, it usually is, it's easier to watch and listen to when someone else asks a question, even if it's a pretend question, which is a lot of what these interviewers do. Someone asks a question, another one answers, but that's kind of, it has to be sort of scripted, I guess.
No, it doesn't. But like, what would you want to be, the interviewee or the interviewer?
Be the interviewee, yeah, because I have stuff that I want to talk about that you
Okay, all
know.
right, I can do
Because
that. You want to talk about, of course, twin flames, right? Twin flames.
no, I mean, I could talk about twin flames by myself. I don't really want, honestly, uh, I'm not really that much into the whole mental thing that everybody is leaning towards, like especially with computers. I'm not really into the mind thing. I'm, and the reason why I say it is they say this is because I've spent quite a lot of time in my mind and thinking and gathering information and reading and hearing what other people about something and all these things. I don't feel that that actually helps. I think it can be an hindrance. So, no, I don't have a lot to say about twin flames. And another thing is like when it comes to truth, it's kind of you have to be careful with it because you have to encourage people. Really, what you say has to be encouraging, otherwise, it's almost pointless. And I think about this a lot with astrology. I mean, I'm tempted to just be very honest and blunt, but the thing is, I want to, or I hope to, help people to increase their ability to create, because I think that's more important than truth itself. And if you think about it, being very honest and very truthful to someone, it may stunt their growth. So you have to be careful. I know that astrologers are always warned about this, but sometimes I kind of like forget it because I get so into
Okay.
just the truth. An older
Um,
article about the
it's kind of like your voice is going through
the
an
rule
old
I
man.
that you what?
I was just saying you're
What?
breaking up again.
Oh yeah. They said that it's better to be viewed as a bad astrologer or an incorrect astrologer than to stunt someone's growth by being too honest. and I lived through that. I think it's true. So that's why I also think astrology itself has pitfalls. Truth itself has a pitfall. So I knew this before, but I learned this again recently, and it's hard to be honest. And especially with twin flames, so many people want to think that they have a twin flame, but they probably don't. Uh, People think that they should be guided into finding a twin flame, but probably in all honesty, that those exercises and what they do is probably not gonna help you find it. It's more of an agreement. Uh, and it's probably karmic and has a lot to do with your own willingness to go through things that are opposite. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really interested in that anymore. That even if it's true, it's really not. I don't think it's helpful. I'm much more into being helpful now, and I don't think honesty is always helpful.
Uh, um,
Law of attraction and listening to your heart and those things. And like thing is, you have to have like some sort of practice in like being honest with yourself, because if you don't have practice in doing that, your heart is not that
hmm. Well, you're still breaking up. Did you maybe want to come in by phone?
I do. I'm on my phone right now.
Oh, I meant a phone call. That's kind of what I meant.
Oh, well, I only have my cell phone now. I got rid of my Magic Jack, so.
Well, you're saying you don't have unlimited minutes, or just it doesn't work good in your apartment. That's right, right?
No, I have unlimited limits. I mean, unlimited. This is just the best we can get because I'm on the only phone that I have.
Okay. All I'm saying is, you are breaking up. I'm guessing you're breaking up in the recording too. And um, if you would come in by phone, it might be a little better.
Well, we can just have a telephone conversation if this is only two people here.
Well, the idea is hopefully to wait and someone shows up, not call it a wait. I mean, just occupy ourselves and maybe someone will show up and maybe no one will show up. So who knows?
Right. So I've had a very interesting couple of months of being very depressed and like, you know, I didn't I don't think anyone thinks at the beginning of their depression that it's going to get that bad, but it did get bad. Like I didn't really want to get out of bed. I couldn't even, it was hard for me to do the simple things like even grocery shopping. I didn't want to do it. I didn't go to the gym. I just was really depressed. Just the classic symptoms. Um,
Yeah.
but
And you're not the only one in that boat. So, yeah.
probably not. I think a lot of people were, and I think it was better that I went through that then, because around the time of this new moon and the eclipse, or just before that, everything really changed again, and now I feel kind of reborn, and 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 I feel pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's what happened to me too. It
So
was off and then it was on again.
right, I think the trick is to keep that momentum of feeling good and controlling negative thoughts, because it snowballed. I remember the precise moment I decided that I was just going to cut myself off. And I thought to myself, well, it's okay. This is the Christmas break. I can just go out of it when the break is over. That's not what had happened. It just started getting progressively worse from that first negative thought I had of just being, let me just, I just give up. I give up trying to be positive. I just give up. All my problems are way too heavy for me, a burden. That's what I felt. And I'm just going to give up and withdraw. I thought I was going to go through a period of rest. It wasn't that really. It was, well, it was and it wasn't. It was rest, but also I started to become very depressed. But um, I think it's true. It just goes back to that same thing. Every negative thing really is just trying to propel you forward for something better. It's hard to believe that when you're in that negative state, but it's true.
Yeah. Adamus has a statement that goes, oh, I forgot. There's a lot of energy in depression. I think that's the statement.
Maybe so. I'm just realizing that everything, I realized this before, but like there's so many layers of what's going on. There's so many viewpoints in the way to look at even one event or one thing in your life, you know, even if it's very negative. The negative always is something, it just boils down to one thing again, which is love. And that's it.
Definitely.
Oh, something very clever. He said, uh, love gives rise to everything, even evil. Which is, it's not 100%. It's been said before, but I just thought that that was a good way to phrase it. I like that phrase. I believe that it is true.
Oh, it's definitely true. I mean, evil can't exist without love. It can't. But it's kind of like once you give a gift, you can't take it back. So it's like we've already given this gift to ourselves that evil has to be made of out of love. We can't take it back. They have to choose. So,
Evil, but love is the only thing that's actually real. Evil is not real. It's the way we experience is and what we and how we experience certain things in this dimension. Once you get to a higher dimension, evil is not real. Only love is real. That's what I've been shown from my experience. That there's nothing real and true. It's just love. And in that point, I was aware of wars, killing, murder, all those horrible, ugly things, but it was just okay. It wasn't something, it just wasn't a matter, you know, it just wasn't a matter. It's just something. Who's
oh,
that?
computer, just give me an error message. You still there?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. I was trying to find that depression line. So, um, yeah, I think I got it right. There's a lot of energy in depression, but
Well, it's just like that's the way we live. We constantly have to it's like renew, reborn, it's just like always start over, decay, start over. It's just that whole thing. It's unavoidable. Change is unavoidable.
yeah,
Cycles change, you know.
yeah, I got it right. It is. There's a lot of energy in depression, and he says when you're in depression, you would argue there's no energy in it at all, but it's just he's got a lot of neat words that he wrote, or actually said. He didn't write them; he said them real time as a channel, and bring it up. Says there's a lot of energy in depression. If we could find a way to drill into depression, we could extract a lot of energy. But it's sitting in muck in a tar. It's just not moving. It's uninspired.
Well, yeah, it's like a death in a way. It's like or whatever.
Well, I thought it was a neat piece of his channel. So
Yeah, I mean, we agreed to be here. This world is a world of contrast. We need the contrast to know the thing that we want to know. So, yeah, in terms of twin flames, people like people ask me, you know, is this a twin flame or like this person, I love this person twin flame, but I think he's narcissist, or how do I find my twin flame? And I thought of an answer recently that I wrote. I don't know, some people probably think it's so dark, but I said, if you want to know your twin flame, if you feel you're ready, ask yourself if you want to live your entire life lonely and and without all those comforts that everyone else wants, without a relationship, all those extremes. I think that is the answer. The person who agrees that that's going to find their twin flame. You have to agree to the opposite.
Well, as I was trying to tell you, interrupting you too much, I heard Bashar talking about the subject, but he called it counterparts. I mean, if you want to, I could try and play it and you can hear it, see what you think.
Okay.
Really? Okay. I'm almost there. So, 1 second then. Let's see. Is that about minute 30? Now we're just going to see if you can hear it, because it could be goofy. Let's see. All right, here we go.
The question on that then is, as a magical fairy romanticist, is this just me projecting my own meaning into thinking, like, because it's so unusual and unique, that I'm just exploring it?
Okay, just heads up, I don't know the exact second, so I'm just going to say it's coming up for the moment. So, but you can hear it, right?
Yeah.
All right, well then let's find the twin flame piece.
Meeting this person.
Well, the purpose, as we have already said, to every relationship is
To mirror part of it.
that you provide the reflections that allows them to become more of themselves as they do the same for you. Period. No other assumptions or expectations need to come into it, because when you do that for each other, in service to each other, in love for each other, that way, no matter what happens, you will know that that is the purpose of the relationship. And thus you will allow it to be whatever it actually is, and whatever it actually is will manifest, not what you assume it needs to be. All right, so just by letting it be what it is and using it for what it is, then it will go whatever path and route it needs to take, and take whatever shape it needs to take, and it will happen automatically because you're allowing it to be what it is. And it will keep changing.
Yes, so on that note, I have sort of another branch question.
Oh, this has got to be it.
Meeting other people that seem to be a part of this oversoul, that are just very strong connections that are active.
Yeah, this is it.
Well, not all of them are, but this may also be one of the ways in which you happen to do things. Some people do that more often than others. Some people interact with a lot of their counterparts. Some people interact with fewer counterparts. Some people interact with none of them.
It just seems to be this year for some reason. Like, this is the year.
This is your timing. This is how you're gathering yourself together. This is how you're getting reflections of different aspects of your consciousness so that you can start functioning more fully.
Yeah, basically we passed it, and we kind of just jumped into the middle of it.
Yeah.
It
I like the way he says that, just let it be. It's almost saying let it develop the way it should develop. I agree with that. I think having too many expectations and then the burden flame, I mean, it can make you make some, not so good decisions. Stay in a relation in flame. I mean, no, I mean, whether it's a twin flame or not, you have to give it time. I mean, I couldn't label this whatever my experience is one until like 30 years after.
Well, I think you should hear the whole piece because it's pretty neat. Also,
Thank God.
I was going
All
to
of
say,
that. What? Hello?
go ahead.
Something's happening to my phone.
Yep, I hear it buzzing.
Yeah, is the camera?
You haven't turned on your camera, no. If that's what you mean.
I didn't? Yeah, I wanted to
No, your camera's not on. So if you've been pointing it
turn
at
off.
your face, we're not getting it. Not that it matters.
I'm not. I don't want it to go up. First, you can't see anything anyway. But I would like to turn this off. Did I turn?
Again, I don't know what you mean, but You know, if you don't know the Android way to bring up your, you know, your phone's multitask, you pull down from the top. I would assume you knew that, but I can get out my Android and show you if you really want to see it.
No. Hello?
I still hear you.
Okay, do you see something?
I just see your picture that I've seen the whole time for Google.
See any camera?
You did have your camera on before. Are you asking me to turn mine on, or what are you saying?
No, it's off because I want it off.
It is off, right? It's off. Nothing to worry about. You've had it off for 15 plus minutes, so.
Yeah. Yeah, what were we saying? Right, yeah, I don't think, I think that that really kind of gets in the way. I think the openness of not knowing or not wanting to know makes you able to just let the experience just flow without restriction. The mind always wants to restrict something. It wants to limit, label, and box, which is what its job is, the rational mind. So I think that it's much better to get rid of those labels because your job, our job as a creator, people should want to create something that doesn't even exist. Why aspire yourself to do something what someone else has already done or that you've already? The reason why the twin flame or whatever experiences I had, the reason why I know in retrospect that it was so incredible and I feel so blessed and I'm thankful is because it wasn't a goal at all. I didn't know any of this thing either existed or should exist. I was never trying for anything. I
Yeah,
know that I was open because of being young and everything that was happening around me was just an openness and a belief that I could just have whatever I wanted. There was none, my mind didn't jaded enough to say, oh, you can't have anything you want. It was just, oh, well, I guess that's the way it is. Put your mind to it and get what you want. And that's what happened. But even more than that happened. So I'm kind of, I don't recommend that for other, try some sort of technique that someone else has thought of or to try to attract a twin. They should try to just to create some 1,000 times more incredible than anything someone else has done. But besides, I know that I created the twin flame, and that's a blessing to me.
yeah.
Almost anything that in my life that's in my life, I know that I created. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I know I created it, and that is the most important thing. To know that you're a creator and see the evidence of it. I think that's important. I think that's what we're here for.
I would say definitely. All right. Well, I'm gonna give it a try again just to see if you can hear this little piece, and I'm gonna have to guess my way to the starting piece. Well, wait a second. I did tell you in Facebook. I thought I told you it started at 30, which is where I started, but it must start at 28. That's my current guess. So give it a try.
You understand this term?
No. He had never seen it before where someone brings in a lot of humans' lives. And for me, the summer solstice, I went to a Mayan ceremony where we had a sacred fire manifestation ceremony.
Yeah.
And this guy came up to me and said, do I know you? And there was this soul recognition.
Yes.
And
on your part as well.
On my part as well.
All right.
But then the very next day, we went to the Mayan medicine man who was giving readings and drawing out facial charts of what he does. And basically, the synchronicity came in where the same guy who came up to me came in right after me.
Yes.
And the medicine man was blown away because we had basically almost the same, well, a very aligned chart. And he wanted to see me after the reading because he wanted to tell me a couple of things. And when I talked to him, his eyes were huge saucers, like
flying saucers.
Yes.
Oh, this is definitely it. So it'll talk about not twin flames, but another concept I've never heard of. So that's why.
I don't think this is twin flames because twin flames don't have the same chart.
Correct.
It's not the same, yeah.
It is oversold stuff, which I believe Bashar will talk about.
Very, very eclectic. And he had never seen it before where two people had come in back to back. Wait, it was a line.
All right, well, congratulations for making this day.
Right. So anyway, but ever since then, we kind of started hanging out and...
You want to say something?
I can hear it.
Okay. All right. Well, it's only a couple more minutes, I think.
Notice the qualification. Kinda. Why the
We're
hesitation
exploring
suddenly?
it because there's like...
Then why not just say, well, we're exploring?
So we're exploring that. And I guess it's been very unique and interesting as far as, I mean, I know soul family connection and very close, tight-knit connection.
Well, that sounds all exciting. And
So this seems to be very different.
what
It's like,
seems to be different?
so you talked about soulmates earlier, and this almost feels like something different even than that. There's a definition that I'm having a hard time defining.
It's called a counterpart.
Okay.
Do you understand this term? Two aspects of the same oversoul who happen to overlap in the time frame of your physical life. You're meeting another aspect of your own oversoul.
That's what it feels like.
Well, that's why I said
So it's almost like when we're together, the energies of what makes up our physical bodies sort of mixes. And sometimes I have no memory of even being with him because it's like
you're operating on a different
on a higher level or something. Can you tell me more about that?
More about
The counterpart.
well, it's as simple as what we described. In other words, what you typically call past lives, future lives, you understand it all exist at the same time. Yes. But sometimes when you're coming from a linear time frame, when you're saying, well, this life was in the past, this life's in the future, you can understand that some lives happen.
You fall asleep?
Hello?
Yeah.
It stopped at some lives overlap.
Oh, did you want me to complete it? I was just...
No, I mean, that's enough, actually. Yeah, I think he's saying that she's experiencing herself because the lines are overlapped. So she's met a person that is her.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's a twin flame.
No,
I think
it's
that's-
not. It's
Yeah.
a totally new label I'd never heard of called a counterpart.
Counterpart. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. I think that if you're experiencing, I think you should someone like that, she should just allow the experience to unfold by herself without asking people what it is or setting limits. I think that that's the only way to fully experience things like that and be a creator. I don't know why she wants to have an explanation for things because the best experience is to have no explanation. She has to create something. If she lives that out, she'll create something that years later someone's going to say, oh, this is what they think it is, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never claimed, I haven't experienced anything, I don't think like that, but it sounds interesting.
It is. Another thing I was going to talk to you about is just because, we share a little similarity on this, but I hired the Pamela lady again.
Right.
And I find her very impressive.
Oh, now you found her impressive before you. Okay.
No, the first time was not good. It really wasn't. But it's like the second time I decided to work with her, I just decided to learn her capabilities. Like she does this thing called an aura reading. She does this other kind of reading. I just scrolled through all the readings and made her do them. And that's why I started to find it impressive.
Oh, yeah. So what was impressive?
Her readings are impressive.
Really?
I don't mean that they're archangel level exactly, but they can be. She has access to a lot of information that, I felt was probably true. So
Right. But more than true, were they helpful? Because remember, I'm personally on this thing about being helpful and not true. I'm really less concerned with truth now. I think that people really slip up on that, on the truth bit.
Yeah, I
And
don't care about true. Were they useful? Absolutely useful. I asked her, for example, I don't know if I told you, I have told you this, and I don't think you liked it, but the archangels, through the channel I worked with for the last 5 years, and they're still teaching, but the archangels told me very specifically to seek out a soul retrieval person,
right.
a specialist. So I asked her about the soul retrieval, and she gave me some information about his skill, and then I even asked her, well, what's the projection of when I'll be done with this person? And she told me it was about 6 months. So that was useful, just to know, how long I'll be working with him, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I guess. You'll have to find out later on if she was right, though. I'm not talking about her specifically, but I I've heard from people who've spoken to psychics, and I myself find psychics kind of interesting because they are somewhat accurate. But I like to speak to the same person again at least 6 months to a year after they've spoken to a psychic, and then I ask them, "How do you feel now in retrospect? Do you feel it was helpful or useful?" And a lot of times they will say that no, that they just kind of don't, I'm not talking about this person you're talking about, because I don't think she's psychic, but just they about a year or in retrospect they say that it wasn't, and because energy is always changing and you can't hold on to the future. So that's what most of them say, and that's how I feel.
Right.
And
Well,
again,
I'm
still,
not invested in it. It's just useful to know that. I'm not saying I'm not being objective about it. I am. So
well, it's useful if it encourages you to create what a psychic told you to create, like when it's positive, like it makes you feel better and energized. I've experienced that too from, like, some psychics, and even this other woman who's like a draconic astrologer.
okay.
But
And
um the only thing I'm kind of like question question about that whole kind of thing is that just the act alone of doing that might be telling your certain that very precious mind of yours that's not the rational mind, but the mind that does control, you know, outcomes, and control if you're able to create and manifest, that you might be telling that part of your brain that's able to manifest that it's not up to you, that it's already that this is destiny at work, that it's already been done. So it sort of lessens your will, and anything that diminishes your will is not positive, whether it's true or not true, whether it's right or not right. Anything that diminishes your will, I don't believe is positive. And that's why I question whether astrology on the whole is all that positive either. I mean, I've had so much experience with it, so I kind of am able to sort of detach myself a little bit. But do I think it's best to study time, like, and spend all your life studying time and studying this, or do I feel it's better just to live from your heart and jump in without needing knowledge? I would say the second one is better. And with
uh,
psychics, whether they're right or wrong, what you're actually telling yourself may not be right, may not be good.
but
Because,
how much are you actually doing that? How much are you actually living from your excitement? How much are you actually jumping?
excuse me?
Well,
What?
you gave me the advice to jump, right? Isn't that what you said? To just live.
No, that's not my advice. I think that people should, uh, yeah, I think people should, to me, I value like faith and belief create what isn't yet true,
Mm.
rather
Well,
than having
I'm just asking you. how well you're living your own advice. That's all I was trying to ask.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm trying to. I'm trying. I'm not saying that I mean, no one's perfect. Everyone is like a work in progress. I know that.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm able to say this is because I had two distinct phases of my life. The first part where I was not armed with any kind of knowledge. And the second part is I have quite a bit of knowledge. And I can compare the two. So if I compare the two, I would say that it's much better to jump in with faith than to arm yourself with knowledge and to become too. Hello? Yeah, I think my phone is just it auto shuts off. But I would say that because I have the contrast, jumping in and creating truth is much more valuable than finding out what is true, asking someone what is true, comparing what is true for you to someone else's true. That's how I think. And yes, I'm trying to, for me, I'm trying to erase. I don't want to know a lot of the things that I already know because I know a lot of statistics. I know how people behave. And I know when I was younger with much more innocence, I was able to see the good in people because I didn't have the experience to tell me any other thing, any other way. But yes, there was some pitfalls. Yes, I was much more gullible. But at the same time, I was protected. I was much more protected then because of my innocence. I was so pure. And I believed in things. I kind of laugh at the things I believed back then. But I used to say things like, oh, I didn't think dancers got jealous because they're so spiritual. And then I entered the dance world and I met a lot of people and reality set in. I don't know if that was really positive. It contribute to my joy. I was much more joyous when I was able to quite easily see the goodness in everybody, whether they deserved it or not. That's all I saw, basically. And because of that, there was a lot of love in my life, a lot. And I talk about this in my videos. Sometimes it's not that I'm a different person. I'm the same person. It's just, you know, enlightenment is something that you have to it's more it's not like an end goal. You have to keep on becoming enlightened. And in order to know that you're enlightened, you have to become unenlightened to want that again. So, yeah.
Hmm. Oh, I,
How are you able to upload an hour-long thing on YouTube? Because isn't it take forever?
oh, it's automatic. That's the neat thing about Hangouts and the broadcasting. They automatically upload it for
Oh,
you.
is this that live thing? It's live.
Yes, it's live, so people can actually stream and they can jump right to where we are
I
now.
I want to do like an interview. I can interview you too if you want, but I have like questions and you can ask me, and so that I get a chance to answer. And it's not quite as boring as just one person talking about something. It's more interesting when you have someone ask a question and then the other person
Well,
answer.
remember we talked before about it. I said you would be interviewed about twin flames. You said no. So what's the subjects you want to be interviewed about?
I'll have to think about that. There's a lot of stuff I talk about. Oh, I actually want to say what I've been saying today, like about truth. Really have something to say about truth because, there's a whole movement called Truth and Truthers, and everyone wants to say truth, and people think, oh, be authentic, be honest, and stuff. And I was one of those. I'm one of those people. I'm like that. It's like I wear my tr- truth like but um, I think that, yeah, like I said before, I think it's important to encourage people to create their truth more than concentrate on what is already true. And astrologers are one of those things where they'll really tell you what is already true and what's possibly going to be true in the future, and psychics too. So I'm not sure that it's healthy. I think that there is a passage in the Bible about astrology to be sort of careful of it. I think that there is some reason why you should be careful.
Hmm.
Like a child, like you don't want to tell a child all the horrible truths about life because you'll just like squish their enthusiasm
No
and
way.
squish their
I think we
ability
should
to.
tell them. You know, why do people even bother with it? It's like, I'm going to hide sex from you. You'll never learn about it. I mean, that's something that a parent does. It's like,
I don't tell a child that about all the statistics and about how horrible people can be, or are you going to encourage them until I don't think you should do that. You can't do certain things. Not about I mean, sex is not eh, it's not about things like that. I mean, everyone knows you have to encourage a child.
uh, I think we do the worst job of child rearing ever. I mean, we've been doing it for years and decades, and then we got our schools on top of it. They're just horrible.
That's not the whole issue about truth or not. That's because of different things of like abuse.
I'm just not for censorship. Why do we even bother? Why can't we just be smart and stop with it? You know, censorship means that some person has a problem with something and then they're passing it on. Oh, let's all have a problem with gays, or let's all have a problem with niggers. You know, that's all that stuff. All that racism is passed on. It's not like people are born as babies. You know, they're not born as racist. They're trained to be racist. So it's,
Yeah, I don't think you should use that word so freely in that context because it sounds racist just the use of the word. The way you said it, I don't use that word.
well,
Like
to
hardly
me,
ever.
racism is being angry or even trying to hurt child molesters. That's racism right there. It's everywhere. You know,
Racism is not about child molesters.
it is. That's the same word, same use of energy to me. If we're not disliking child molesters, we'll dislike niggers or gays or fill in the blank. Name whatever is cool. You know. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to end this conversation.
okay,
Yeah, but I'll talk to you sometime again.
okay. Well, thanks for playing.
Bye.
Adios.